In the previous episodes for this 1988 Mercury Cougar revival, you learned about the purchase, watched me clean the mouse-infested interior, saw me fix the ignition problem and get the car to start, and saw the worst fuel tank you ever did see. In this episode, I attempt to get this car running on its own fuel system. The fuel pump assembly was very disgusting, and the pump itself was seized with gunk. So for this budget revival, I bought the cheapest fuel pump I could find on eBay, which is always the best idea. Will it work? Unlike most fuel pumps you buy, this kit was not the whole assembly. It was just the pump and the other replaceable parts. Okay, so I went on eBay and I bought the cheapest. It's probably going to regret this, but I bought the cheapest fuel pump I could for this car, 50 bucks. It actually came with more than I thought it would. It came with this fuel pump holder. It came with the actual pump. Again, this is something that if you're doing this, you're just going to want to buy the whole assembly. Because I mean, I had to cut this in order to clean it, and you know, it's got permanent crust in it. So you don't want to mess around with that. So anyway, this new fuel pump came with the pump holder, the pump itself, which is a slightly different, it's slightly smaller, well, a lot smaller actually, than the original one. And it came with the sock, and here's a new lovely gasket. So the assembly of this is pretty straightforward. Oh, these two different sizes. They sure are, so you can't screw up the connections, that's good. And then the only other thing I need to do is use a test light and test out the wiring to the fuel pump. Okay, just grabbed the fuel pump before I put it together, plugged it in, hooked it up to the test light, and we'll see if the test light lights up to prime the fuel pump. There we go. It's like about a 1 second prime. Try it again. Yep. Okay. Oops, down first. It's a tight fit, this hose included. But what's going on? So. I wish that locked in there a little better. I guess it's okay. Okay, show you the gas tank setup. And try to get the gas tank tilted pretty level. Filled it up with 5 gallons of 91 with a full bottle of Chem Tool. Well, I suppose I was not that surprised. Let's check the fuel pressure, as I do not trust that cheapo fuel pump. Okay, this is awkward. Oh, right on. You got fuel pressure. So let's sort it out. See how much. Right now we're looking at, yeah, let's see if we can build Yeah, 40 psi, so our fuel pressure regulator is working and our fuel pump is working, and we did have spark. After scanning the EEC4 onboard computer with my OBD1 scanner and finding no faults, I came to an obvious conclusion. If the engine starts with starting fluid, we must not be getting fuel, and the only part of the fuel system that I haven't touched is the fuel injectors. I was hoping to not have to deal with them, as the upper intake and its many hoses, mechanicals, wiring, and gaskets would need to be removed, and who knows what would fall apart. So as I get started on the job at hand, I immediately encounter such an issue. It is very typical for the small number 6 steel screws on the 5.0 beauty plate to freeze in the aluminum intake from corrosion, requiring them to be drilled out. Does somebody want to explain to me what the point of this is? It goes from the back bolt of the intake down to the engine block. And, I mean, what is the point? What is the point of that? Alright, so we should have another... Yeah, we got another nut there. Oh, I'm going to need a deep well. There. Oh, perfect. Find that missing nut. No, here, this one. What are these things? It's not going to come up. That's vacuum hoses. What else is it? We got the water. I'll get that off. There we go. Oh, some fluid out here. Nope, just dust. Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. I'll hold them out here. Oh, whipped out. Okay. That's another one. Okay. One back. Ready? Okay. What else do I do? Okay, yeah, yeah. Ooh, okay. Right. Right. Oh, there we go. Oh.
Later, aboard Brainiac's ship.
Okay, so we have the intake here and our fuel injectors, our fuel rails, and yeah, I mean, actually, the pintle caps, we're missing 3 of them on the, actually it's the same side that these were on, because these sit behind the pintle cap. Okay, so I gotta fish those pintle caps out of the engine before I forget. Okay, so yeah, I had to really yank them out of there, and they came off in, well, actually that's an O-ring and it's really stiff, so yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so these O-rings have had it. And The pintle caps have had it. Well, pintle caps might be okay, but the O-rings have had it. And there's these little yellow spacers that go behind both. So it's the yellow spacer, the O-ring, and then the pintle cap. It goes on like that. So fortunately, I had on my 95 GT Mustang, I had a set of injectors that I bought that sucked. They were brand new and they were leaky, so thank you, China. And so I have the relatively new parts for those, and I'll bet that they fit. Oh, come on. Oh boy. I'll bet they fit on there. Come on out of there. Nice and easy. There we go. All right, so yeah. Same size. Same size. So I have a tester that I bought, one of these cheapo deals, which actually kind of works. You basically hook it up to some battery, like a 12-volt battery. That's what these alligator clips are for. And then it's got these other little doodads that I actually made extensions for. This is what it came with, these ends here, and I made these little extensions that fit onto the wiring harness of a Ford, a little better, a Ford SEFI EC4. So these injectors are going to fight me, but I just need to pull them off. Yeah, I can tell this is going to be fun. I can tell you right now that they just basically popped off real easy on the Mustang, so it's got something to do with age and sitting and whatnot. I don't know if WD-40 would help much in this case. I think it would, because I think it would get down inside there. Just get a little wiggle. Squirt down there, send it over. And also possibly squirt some actually into the fuel rail. But this is the direction we're going, so. Be the way to go, to put it into a vise and then attempt to get them out, because that way I can, oh, I gotta get it a little tighter than that. I don't know. Gotta be a little bit careful of the fuel line. Okay, here we go. Oh. This is, what an old crusty vehicle. Very hesitant to do things this way. This old injector's made of plastic on the outside, you know. It's just stuck in there, you know. It's just really stuck in there. There we go. Jeez. All right. So there's a screen inside, and we have to try to make sure that that is clean. That's the first level of defense. That's the only level of defense in the fuel injector. Oh yeah, this will work. The very last one's gonna fight me, of course. Ah, there we go. It's coming. All righty. Wow. Okay. So here's the setup. I made a jig to hold it. The problem is that you have to hold the injector into this white plastic part here, and simultaneously push it down onto the bottle of brake cleaner, carb cleaner, whatever you have. So I made a jig to hold the injector into the thing. And so here's this thing, it's set to 2. And we are gonna give this a try. Let's give it a try. So this one is pulsing, so we'll, here we go. Ooh, it was a little bit. That's better. Okay. All right, so this is gonna work. I'm gonna squirt some in the screen here. So here's what we do. See, the pressure from the can just pops this out. So you have to hold it like this and then push it down on the can. And it's a real pain in the butt. And you tend to get the stuff all over you. So I made a little jig. I should have done this last time, but I wasn't as worried about the injectors being dirty as I am on this one. So I really wanted to get a good clean and good test on these. This is just a couple of, these are actually rack mounts, rack mount ears for mounting equipment into 19-inch racks. And I threaded this, you know, tapped this, and I did. I'm a little bit off, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. Oh, except this has to be facing the other way. That matters. And I just grabbed a piece of wood that was longer than this, and then I could shim myself up with some wood underneath, because who knows what size bottle you're going to have, you know, exactly. So there we go. All right. See, it's not working. So this one is not. It's not making any noise. That's not good. I wonder if I can tap it a little bit, you know. I'm gonna try to tap the injector. There it is. We got it. We got it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to do this 6 more times. Okay, well, 5 or 6 of them were stuck. They all freed up. They all squirted under pressure. I think we're good to go. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to put new O-rings or the O-rings out of these shitty ones. I guess the pintle caps also. So I'll take and transfer over that stuff onto those and clean it a little bit. And then we'll put them back in the car, and hopefully everything goes back together. Probably the most difficult part is to get all the connectors and all the vacuum hoses back connected. And so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, all right. So, there it is. By the way, as you can see, the intake is off again, partially. I forgot to do this, but now you can see it might have still made a connection, and there is only one wire that I can detect. This all was eaten through, and I guess they got down to the metal and decided it wasn't very tasty anymore or something, and they gave up. I don't know if I'm gonna, how much I need to strip back to get to some clean metal. Yes, I watch YouTube videos too, and I do know that there is butt connectors that you just solder, you just use a heat gun with, and it has a low melting solder, and it's super easy to use. And eventually I probably will have something like that. Probably pick up something like that. Here we go. You'll see this one. Okay. Let me go get the battery. And here goes nothing. Well, I'm happy. How about you? Leave a comment, leave a like, please consider subscribing. In the next installment, watch as I try to get this baby to drive. Thanks for watching, friends.